Hello, everyone. My name is Zendi, and welcome to the first episode of my Forever Hardcore World. And we have spawned on top of a mountain with spruce. Okay. Guess this is a better spawn than all the other attempts. Yeah, I mean, maybe not really being on top of a mountain. Feel like that's probably a bad sign. But, spawning in a spruce, I guess for me, is also a good sign. Don't know. Depends on how you see it. Looks to be a village over there. I didn't even notice that before. Well, it probably was a bit, yeah, out of like render distance. You could like barely see it. Let's go over here first. I mean, we're gonna go over there, but... Okay, so that way... Not spruce. Okay. I would prefer spruce. I am actually gonna cut down this oak tree so I can get an oak sapling, though. And also the wood. Just get it quickly. Okay. Just fixing a setting real quick. Or that's what I was doing. Feel like the... Okay, I may actually have to get a setting on here. It's like everything's quiet. Probably gonna regret that in like 5 seconds. But we'll see. Let's do what everyone does. If I can pick up the wood. And craft some tools. Then we'll head over to the village. And also, I will explain sort of the idea, or I guess premise, however you want to call it, for this world. I guess it would be the plans for this world. Actually, I guess I can do it on the way there, actually, now that I think about it. Would be nice to get some sweet berries. Oh, I was gonna say sweet berries. See some sweet berries right here, okay. Just gotta make sure not to go into them. So this world is kind of a world that I want to remake. Well, not really remake, but make what childhood me wanted, which was a forever, well, I guess technically not hardcore world, but it's gonna be hardcore. But I'm gonna be making my dream world, I guess. My forever world that I wanted to make ever since I first started playing Minecraft. And that was a empires type, kingdom type of world. And there's no animals in this pen. Those are chickens. I don't like those new chickens. At least that one. Also, firefly bushes. I don't like how there's oak right here. Or other trees. I don't like how this village is so close to non-spruce forest trees. I was kind of hoping it was a big spruce forest taiga, but it's not. Guess not. But anyway, so this world, it's gonna be like kingdoms and empires with a whole bunch of lore. You could think of it as like the YouTube series, the Empire's SMP YouTube series. Except with a whole bunch more, and it's gonna be single player. But at least with the whole premise of there being empires and all that. Sweeping Edge Outpass. I don't even have emeralds for that. But so, like, the premise, there'll be empires. There'll also be kingdoms as well. Just like small. There are village free trade. Here, you guys can go. No? Okay. Well, one of you. I guess one of you will be free. But so yeah, there'll be empires, kingdoms, the whole bit. That will tie into the lore and all sorts of things in this world. Oh, it's because of the firefly bushes. I was like, what the heck? What else? Ooh, 2 diamonds. And 6 obsidian and iron pickaxe. Gonna break this chest so that I know that it's looted. Need potatoes and carrots. Or not potatoes, I already got carrots. Potatoes. I need beetroot and carrots. There's armor over there. I feel bad for taking from this village, but I think I'm actually gonna take the villagers from here and make my own, or move them into the first empire we build. Should probably take the beds too, but I won't. A lot of pumpkins here. I forget that there's a whole bunch of pumpkins that you can get. A spruce sign. Okay. Place that right there. I actually should take a bed. There's a house over there that I can take the bed from. Hunger is gonna be a problem. Well, actually, I have the sweet berries. Not the best food source, but it is there. Oh, and so it's gonna be like a whole bunch of lore. I think I already said that though. It's going to be big. That's the thing, is it's gonna, well, if I can survive long enough, that is, it's going to be a big world. Well, maybe not thousands upon thousands of blocks. Well, hopefully not, that is. But so there'll be... Oh, I'm gonna take the purple bed. I see a purple bed, I'm taking it. Okay, so I need to remember this village. How should I do that? Actually, I could do it with the pumpkins. Have a trail of pumpkins. Gonna make a new axe though, because mine is gonna break. And I know I can go straight to stone, but I'd rather, you know, just use the wooden tools first before switching to like stone and eventually iron and so on and so forth. Except it's probably going to be some time since we get iron, or till we get iron tools, that is. Most likely we'll stick to stone for a long while. Let's sleep. And I guess we can head this way. There's already a pumpkin right here. Just realized I have a whole bunch of seeds in my inventory. I just gotta remember that these pumpkins are a path. Looks to be more spruce over there, actually. What is that? I wish I had that one mod where I can zoom in. Oh wait, is that just a pillar? The little rock thing? Except that doesn't actually look like a little rock. So the way the whole empires... I forgot they're big rocks. Oh, original Minecraft dogs. The whole empires and the kingdoms are going to be is that the empires are going to be like oh, we're not gonna be able to see this. I want to actually go over there because if that's all spruce as well. Continue going down the water, I guess. So it's not going to be every biome, but majority of, well, I guess not really majority. But there's going to be quite a few biomes that are going to be, or going to have like an empire associated with it. So like, for instance, I guess this biome, the taiga, there will be an empire for this biome. Oh, the duggles. Or, oh no, there's more than one. Where did I place one? Okay, right there. And so not every biome, of course, will have an empire. Because that would probably be a bit too much. And there might be some biomes that might be confusing. Well, I guess they wouldn't necessarily be confusing. Oh, that's taiga over there. Not taiga. Taiga's ending over there. That looks maybe like an ocean. Let's go over there. Just gonna place a pumpkin on this side, but never mind. But I do know, well, I haven't actually decided fully yet. But I do know that I at least want 3 underground empires. Actually, I want that to go maybe over here. And so at least for the lore, for right now, is this just all gonna end up turning into birch? Am I like wasting time? Yeah, I think I am. And it's not actually leads to an ocean, so I'm actually gonna turn back. I also take some of the flowers. And so my reason being why there's free for lore reasons is I'd like to think that there were like 3 uh siblings. Like there is going to be empires who, well, ruins of empires and kingdoms that will also, some of them will just be there, well, at least the kingdoms, and then there'll be others where there's like the empire's actual lore behind them. But so with the underground empire, which is just a placeholder name for right now, or at least the former one, there were 3 siblings. And instead of them like how actual medieval times, they would like choose. Just like one heir. It's usually the firstborn. But instead, for this, they actually let the children choose. And so the 3 children, this is just temporary though, or at least a template, I guess, of it. But so the 3 children chose to rule their own empires. And also each empire will obviously have their own, would this be a good area to build? Maybe. I just got sidetracked because we came back to this spot. But I do wonder, could do like a little fishing dock, maybe boat, like, could also do this area over here as well. Because it's gonna be a, well, obviously since it's an empire, it's gonna be a fairly big empire, kingdom, place. So we can start over there, actually. Gonna move these pumpkins. But so, at least for right now, I may or may not add like sort of like a ruined empire turned kingdom or something. But at least for right now, the 30 empires, it's going to be like one empire is, or let's just say the one sibling, maybe the first sibling, I don't know. I haven't actually gotten that far. Oh, gonna need to patch that up. Ugh, maybe not the best choice. I mean, we could start over there and then expand over here. Probably should do that. Actually, that seems like a better choice. Sort of like make not really that good of an outline. Just a small area indicating that these two places are our choice of location. And I do not know if this is going to be where I choose to actually live, have my base and everything. But at least for the foreseeable future, this is where we'll be. Well, definitely gonna need to cut down a whole bunch of trees. But so, as I was saying, the first sibling, let's say, they are like, they prefer, I don't know how to actually describe it. They grew up being interested, having read history of like the deep dark, or like, well, I guess before the deep dark city, or like the ancient city became, well, the ancient city with the deep dark, the word and all that. And so I guess like with ancient times, like um they preferred the ancient side of history and all that. So they chose to live in, well, not actually live in an ancient city, because at least with actual Minecraft lore, I'd like to think that the ancient cities were actually there, built by our predecessors and all that, the whole lore with that. So I'm kind of like expanding on it. So I guess, thinking about, I guess it would be like a big underground city, ancient city that hasn't been turned, hasn't had or maybe it has had and somehow rebelled against the deep dark. Maybe it could be something like that, where like they suppress the deep dark or something. Maybe we'll have like a kingdom that actually, I don't know. I'm thinking way too ahead. But the point is that the first sibling, we'll say, chose, I guess, more like, I guess, preserve the history. I don't know what you would really think, or what the word would be. I guess they were more into history than the other two were. And so they decided to live in what is now known as an ancient city. You know, they found a huge underground place and called it home and built an ancient city there. So I guess it would be like ancient relics and all that. Kind of like what the ancient, or at least that empire would be. Or I guess kind of how like the first sibling would proceed, or whatever the word is. Can't even say it without butchering it. Saying it incorrectly. But so like they're the ruler of like the ancient city, I guess. The ancient history. And so their kingdom is mainly going to be made out of deep slate. And all the other things that you can find in an ancient city. And who knows, maybe the warden was sort of like a worshipped god, well, not a god, like a deity or something. Or like it was like the protector, but then something happened, at least for in the empire or maybe in the other ancient cities, that caused the wardens to murder everyone, I guess. Go rogue. Of course, that none of this will actually make sense with the actual Minecraft lore. This is just my own Minecraft lore. Well, for this world, I should say. And all of this will make sense as time goes on. So right now, if it doesn't make sense, it should hopefully make sense in the future, if we survive that long. That is. Which I really hope we do. And so the second sibling was into like Dwarven tech. Dwarvish tech. Is it Dwarven or I think it's Dwarven tech. I don't know. I'm probably saying it completely wrong. Basically a Dwarven Empire, not Dwarf Empire. Just like, well, I guess technically I could just say for right now, I could just say the Copper Empire, because that's basically what it is going to be. But so, kind of the idea is that, at least for the first and the second underground empire, we're going to be using the structures. Well, basing the empires based on the structures, actually not, well, same thing. Not really. So like with the ancient city, well, we're gonna have to hopefully find a huge ancient city. But so the ancient city, we'll, I guess, remake it, redesign it. So like, it'll be used as a template. Unlike all the other empires, like the one we're going to build eventually in this biome. Like, we'll at least have some sort of idea. Some sort of like reference to like go towards, unlike this biome and all the others. And so it'll be, so the second underground empire, the Copper Empire, which I'm either gonna switch between calling it the Copper Empire or the Dwarven Empire. So it's the same empire, but if you hear me, which I know I'm gonna end up saying either one, but if you do hear me like say one or the other, just know it's the same empire. But it will also probably be confusing by saying both names. But so that empire will be based on the trial chambers. And so what I'm going to do is I don't really know if I'm going to go heavy or yeah, I go heavy on the whole auto farms, mob farms and all that. But since I at least know that for the trial chambers you can't actually break the spawners, which I really wish you could. Or at least pick them up. You know, I kind of wish you could actually pick them up. Maybe not actually destroy them. Maybe they can be unbreakable, but you could at least pick them up. But also, I kind of... Actually, I don't really know why the reason is that they're... You can't break them. Well, I guess actually I do. But that does also kind of defeat the purpose. Or at least make it a huge challenge if people wanted to, like, live in a trial chamber and make it their home. But I think what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to get really lucky, which is probably gonna be very impossible, very hard. I mean, I guess I can make a huge cavern, or at least attempt to make a huge cavern. Or underground city around the child chamber. Waiting for it to go dark before I continue. Because I'd like not to be with the scary mobs. They can instantly kill me, basically. Because I'm in hardcore. It's basically a death sentence being... Well, I mean, I do have iron armor, but not really that helpful. When I only have one knife. And not a full set of iron armor either. Or tools. So, the idea I have for at least dealing with the whole trial chamber is that if you've ever played Skyrim or at least watched videos of Skyrim or any other type of games where it's like you go into a mission or like have a mission and you have to go into this place and so there's like traps and all that, and I might change it to where, or at least the idea of it not actually being that. But what I was thinking of sort of making, I don't know, maybe like a gladiator type scenario. Maybe not. Where like, um, if you survive the trial chamber and beat it, make it out alive, you, I don't know, become a guard or something. You like have proven your worth. Not that being in an empire that is going to be based, or at least with the technology base and all that sort, of a dwarven empire. Maybe not so much on the whole. I don't know. It's more like, if you make it out of the trial chamber, you are seen, you have proven your worth into like being a guard, being a soldier or something. Like, it's not like, I guess it's more, I don't know. I might not do that, but I was just thinking, why not make it where if you choose to go down the path of becoming a warrior, guard, soldier, whatever they will be called, uh, then you'll have to do the trial chamber. And of course, you want to just go in there, no armor, no tools, no nothing. Well, I mean, usually in a gladiator arena, you actually have at least weapons. Maybe perhaps armor if you're lucky. Not really. It's more like the survival games, except you're not actually fighting each other. You're fighting, well, I guess the Hunger Games. I don't know why. Minecraft term survival games. Actual real term the Hunger Games. But instead you're actually fighting the creatures and monsters there. But I was sort of going for like the Skyrim type of where like, well, I guess I could go for both. Except the only difference is instead of you being in this open place, you're actually in like sort of like a maze, I guess. Kind of like Maze Runner. But also like Skyrim. And it wouldn't really necessarily be a maze. I mean, depending on what mission you are, or quest you are doing in Skyrim or in any other game, because I imagine there are other games where it feels like a maze, but it actually isn't a maze. But so like, that's like the idea. For right now, at least. Where like, it's not like, okay, you go in there, and if you make it out, hooray. And if you don't, then you're out of luck. And it's not like you only get one try. You can, at least for right now, it's not like you try and you fail, then you no longer can try. It's, I don't know, getting ahead of myself with that, with it all. But I do think it is English. It is a good start though. Having at least that planned out and centered around the Dwarven Copper Empire. Hey, maybe I could call it Dwarven Copper Empire. Actually, no, that sounds like a terrible name. But so that'll be like the second empire, and so like with the ancient city, of course, we'll transform the ancient city. I was gonna say rebuild it. Technically rebuild it, but we're also transforming it. So, also transforming. Changing it up. And so for the third empire, which may be confusing. So my idea was like with the Dwarven Empire, it's like heavily focused on copper, machinery, that whole bit. Not so much on the whole ores and all that. So might have to come up with something else to describe the empire, or at least so people or so others don't get confused, because I can imagine it's going to be confusing. Since the third empire is going to be heavily focused on ore, so it's going to be like a gem or mineral empire. And so the idea is that empire is also the empire that produces the weapons and armor as well. Even though their main source of, I don't know what you would call it. Their main product, I guess you could call it, is the ore and the gems. I mean, hey, if you are from another empire and request like a whole bunch of diamond armor and tools and swords, they would 100% make them. But I do see how that would be confusing, or how at least it would be confusing in terms of the other empire. The only difference is that the other empire, it's machinery focused. So I guess you can separate it from like smithy, making tools and weapons, and then having an empire. Oh, and also mining as well is also separated from the machinery and tech. That's I guess how you can separate it. I know it's still gonna be confusing though. I mean, I guess, well, no, because the only way I see that it can be confusing is because when you think of Dwarven Empire or like Dwarven stuff, is that dwarves mine, they mine ores and all that sort. Except the only difference between these two empires is they're actually separated. And one empire is more heavily focused on machinery and tech, while still being in the, I guess, still being dwarvish, except um, heavily focused on the tech and machinery. While the other one is more focused on the mining the ores. Basically like a treasure empire with gems, ores, and that whole sort. And also that both empires, I think, will uh, both do smithing. I don't really know how I'll how I'll do all that. Separate it all yet, but that's at least the idea. And I would like it not to rain, please. Thank you, Minecraft. I'm also going to make a temporary bridge. And I don't know if this bridge will stay here, or at least this will be a placement for where the future bridge will be, but it will be a bridge nevertheless. And also, I will be taking my time. Oh, I mean, I always take my time in Minecraft, so it will be slow. I'm not gonna try speed running and all that like all those other YouTubers. Well, at least when it comes to like advancing. Even though I guess would make sense so I don't die if I just speedrun to netherite armor, but I could end up dying in the process. And well, trying to speedrun to get to netherite armor is more dangerous than just taking my time. At least, that's how I see it. Good. Oh no, the fish. You're a big fish. I feel like they made the fish models way more bigger. Because I don't think those fish are that big. Could be wrong though, but they are looking a bit too big than I remember, than I recall. Oh, and so also, I'm not gonna call it the fourth empire, underground empire or anything, since I'm entirely not sure at all. But actually, I don't even know if it would really be an empire. Actually, maybe it will be. But so I was thinking of having like a lush type cave. Sort of empire, not really empire. But the thing is that my idea in the future is that I want there to be 2 end portals. I don't know if I want. Well, I haven't decided, at least for in the lush caves, or I guess kingdom empire. Will you go out of the water? My God, I'm trying to save your life and you won't even move. Um, I have no idea if I want the one empire or the one end portal to be open lit or not. I haven't fully decided, and I probably won't decide until further on when getting ready, or at least starting working on the lush biome place. But so the thing is that I'm going to have it where there's sort of going to be a huge giant crater, and in the middle of it is going to be an end portal, and that end portal is going to be lit. And that's like going to be a way of how uh people go in and out of the end. I almost said empire. Well, yeah, that's going to be how people go through. And so it's going to have like that fog effect I've seen people use, which looks very, very cool. But I think of having like the end portal sort of being like, I don't know, having a platform underneath it. And like maybe having a section of like the crater where like goes up to the surface. And if you go down, I guess the stairway down, it will lead you to the end portal. But I mean, realistically, for lore reasons, not actual real physics, you can actually go into the crater, into the fog effects that I'll make, the glass, I guess, because that's what it is glass. Sort of going to try and make it like a portal, just a huge portal, and there just being a crater surrounding it, and then having a smaller portal, which will be the end portal. And so you can think of the big crater portal part, sort of like how the end ships, the Ender Dragon or Ender Dragons, get through, go in and out of the portal. Since the regular Minecraft portal, end portal, is very small. So, making, or at least going to do that so it actually makes sense, instead of just having somehow end ships manage to go through that small portal. And so it'll be the same, well, maybe not a crater, but on the other side on the end, I'll figure something out. Maybe it can be like sort of like an end portal. Who knows? Maybe I'll just do like a crater, except it won't actually be a crater, maybe. We'll see in the future. But so on for the other end portal, I don't know if it's going to be lit or not. But that one will be in like, I guess the Lush Empire Kingdom. I might make it an empire, actually, now that I think about it. It'll just be separate from the other 3 empires, underground empires. Oh my god, another salmon. I'm not saving it. Oh, I think it went back in water. Or maybe it died, I'm not sure. But so that portal, regardless if I have it open or not, for lore reasons, is going to be like a secret portal. That only... Maybe it won't be a secret portal, but it's not like a portal that you could just ignite and go through. Like, only specific people can go through it. That's the idea. With that one. So I guess it would be a special portal. One that only special people, I guess, can go through, go in and out of. That's why it's going to be in the Lush biome, or Lush cave. And those are the, at least lore and the ideas for those empires. Of course, I have a whole bunch of ideas and semi-lores for the other empires. But I do know that I do want, I guess, I haven't figured out if it's going to be a plains empire, but I do want an empire that's either that's in the plains or that's in like in between, or I guess not in between. Maybe it can be in the plains, but I was thinking of that one can have like, I don't know, like the bees and the birch and oak. I don't know, I haven't gone that far with at least that empire. Because each empire, they're gonna have like items, blocks, that make their empire who they are. So like the Spruce Empire, they are, well, the Taiga Empire, I don't know why I keep saying spruce, maybe because there's spruce trees. They will have the spruce wood, sweet berries, the pumpkins. That's what makes them that empire. There'll also be, I also haven't decided if it's going to be 2 different biomes, or 2 different empires, since they're 2 different biomes. But I was thinking the ice spikes and the snowy plains biome, or I guess the snow biome. Well, I guess they would produce snow. Haven't thought of others, other things yet. But I mean, there's gonna be a lot. But I think I might actually try to find an ice spike biome, so that way it's snow and also the different types of ice. Instead of just having two separate empires for that one. And then there's going to be technically two ocean empires, but also technically one. And what I mean by that is, well, like I said, I haven't fully decided or figured everything out yet. But there'll at least be one main ocean empire. I don't know if there'll be a second one or not. And also, since there'll also be kingdoms, so the kingdoms are just going to be, I guess, like basically villages, but also going to be like kingdoms around the world. There's going to be, of course, more of them than the empires, since the empires region uh, that type of biome, and not that specific biome as well. It would be all the taiga biomes that empire the taiga empire uh has region over. I was gonna say has control, but has region over the land instead of it just being a huge land like a kingdom would be, except maybe not huge. It would actually govern all of the biomes. And that's also where the kingdoms come in. And it's not like gonna be like every single biome we come across there's going to be a kingdom or a village. It's just there'll be more kingdoms than empires. That will be scattered about the world. That will be the idea, at least behind the kingdoms. And there also will be lore, not a whole bunch, or not a whole lot of lore compared to the empires, but there will be quite a bit of lore, though. And of course, with the villages, I don't think I'm gonna mainly have like villages. I think I'm just gonna have those sort of be like an independent place. Like I'm trying to think. Sort of like the first place you go to in Skyrim. I think it's Riften, I can't remember. I should remember because I love Skyrim, but for some reason I can't. Which kind of sucks. But so, it's not like a stronghold. Or a keep, like Windhelm is. It's just like a small village. So there'll be villages like that around as well. Since I'm not gonna try to find every single village and destroy them. Because that would take a very long time to do. I mean, I could attempt to do it, but I don't think you guys want to see me destroy a million to who knows how many villages. And also that would be actually quite mean for me to do. Surprised I haven't heard any of the Minecraft music. I turned it up and still haven't heard it. Well, actually, I think I turned up the volume for it, but still. Hmm. Well, I mean, we got plenty of space. Not really, but we did get quite a bit done. Kind of wish I did more for this first episode. But you know, we explored. Maybe not a whole lot, but we did definitely explore. Got a temporary farm situated, or figured out, placed. Uh, Found a location to call home and also build our first empire. Talked about uh, the plans for the future if I survive long enough, and also the lore. So, I think that was a productive first episode. Maybe not fully because I don't have a house. I mean, I have a tiny little setup here. But you know what? Everyone always starts different. They have their own ways of playing. I mean, the least I could have done was built myself a dirt hut, but I didn't do that. Unfortunately, I should have actually done that. But unfortunately, that will actually have to be it for this episode of my Hardcore Forever World, and also the first episode and video of the new year of 2026. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good start to the new year and also have a good day or night. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!